We're going to talk about something very important today, and that is ethics and how the fear of being unethical can often lead therapists to being unethical. Hang with me here. Therapists become therapists because they want to help people. They want to help make the world a better place. The last thing they would ever want to do is intentionally or unintentionally harm someone. And most therapists are often very sensitive, attuned people, and they go into clinical graduate trainings that then drill the fear of being unethical into their heads. And so ethics becomes a lot more about rigid rule following than it is about truly supporting your clients. So many therapists graduate their clinical training absolutely terrified of harming their clients, saying the wrong thing, doing the wrong thing, breaking these rules, and thus becoming unethical, which is like being a heretic who is worthy of being burned at the stake. And the therapist who deeply fears being unethical has this fear at the forefront of their mind, so much so that it makes it really difficult for them to actually be present with the human in front of them because all they're thinking about is, oh my gosh, I hope I don't say the wrong thing. I hope I'm not going to hurt them. I want to make sure I'm following the rules and doing everything right. And this often leads to things like your client asks you, oh yeah, hey, how are you doing today? And then the therapist says, what do you mean? Why do you want to know that? You're not supposed to ask me that. And in trying not to be unethical, they often miss the human right in front of them. They're so preoccupied with not wanting to break the rules, not wanting to intentionally harm, that they're not actually present with the person. And this unintentionally creates harm. It can create a rupture in the therapeutic relationship because you're operating more as a clinical robot than you are a human. If your client says something that you don't know what to do with, you're just pulling from these prescriptive statements that you think you should say in order to be ethical. And the fear of being unethical often feels like the fear of being human, the fear of your client seeing you as human and not being able to really see the full humanity of your client. You're wanting them to fit in this little neat clinical box. And the moment they say something that ventures outside of that box, you feel yourself panic and freezing up, hoping that, oh my gosh, I hope I'm not going to say something that's going to harm them. But being able to be a human in the room and being able to see your client as a human and being in genuine relationship is the crux of the therapeutic relationship. And when we are so afraid of being unethical, that preoccupies our ability to be present with the human in front of us. The core of ethics is doing no harm and doing good for the client. Overly obsessing about being unethical doesn't actually do that. For me, the core of ethics is human first. I allow myself to be human first, and I see my client as human first. If we are afraid of humanity, then we are going to constantly tiptoe around our clients. We're going to unconsciously put up walls, and we're going to feel like we're reading from a script rather than genuinely relating to the person in front of us. Healing happens in relationship, not by perfectly following rules. Ethics, really at their core, is about attunement. And in order to attune to the person in front of you, you have to be present. And if the fear of being unethical is at the forefront, then you're not going to be as present and you're not going to be able to attune. So if you truly want to serve your clients ethically, then serve human first. Serve your clients from integrity. Learn to deeply attune to people while also giving yourself the space to be human. Lead with curiosity, not rigidity. Lead with presence, not perfectionism. This way, you're not tiptoeing around your client, worrying that you're going to harm them. When you operate human first, when you operate from presence and attunement, you also trust in your ability to repair if there is a moment where your client feels that something you said or did wasn't supportive or hurt them unintentionally. And then that repair from that rupture is part of the healing process. You're making it safe for your client to be human. You're making it safe for you to be human. And you're not unintentionally shaming your client for asking a question or saying something that you are afraid makes you unethical if you respond to. This is a huge part of our philosophy in the Healing Embodied method. I got my master's in dance movement therapy and counseling back in 2017, and I worked in the clinical field full time for 2 years. And I saw how so many clinicians treated their clients and patients in the name of trying to be ethical and professional. It oftentimes felt so dehumanizing. There was so much of this distance, this hierarchy. And I learned that true healing happens when we can really, really get comfortable with our own humanity and when we can make it safe for our clients to be human as well. I'm now the co-creator of a year-long accredited somatic coaching certification program that trains practitioners, coaches, therapists, healers how to effectively and ethically guide their clients in a way that doesn't feel rigid and prescriptive, in a way that honors humanity and makes space for nuance and imperfection. We train practitioners, therapists, coaches to be deeply present with their clients, to feel safe in their own bodies, to hold the full spectrum of their client's human experience. We're paving the way for a new paradigm of practitioners. We're bringing back the humanity into healing. If you want to learn more about our certification program called the Healing Embodied Practitioner Training Program, check out the link in the show notes. You can also join our free Facebook community called the Embodied Practitioner Paradigm. I'll also put the link to that in the show notes. Welcome to this community of therapists, practitioners, and coaches who are doing things differently. Here's to living your dream career.